What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Assemblage 23, and this is the first of two reactions to Assemblage 23 this time around, which will allow us to finish the album of Failure 2001, meaning we will then be on to Null, which I have an autographed copy of here. Indeed, I had to get the CD. At some point I will hope to get the vinyl as well, but yes, I want to thank Kim, who not only introduced me to Assemblage 23, has provided a lot of information, but actually made a donation that allowed me to get a copy of this when Tom was accepting pre-orders on the Assemblage 23 website, so I'm very excited to go through this. But before we get there, we have two more tunes on Failure, the first of which is Awake. It's a single word title, those are tough to get a read on. I will say this one inclines me to think conceptually, the idea of awake meaning a state of mind and being that is aware, perceptive, cognizant of external factors, internal conditions, and thus is not sleeping or is not unaware. And of course, if you extrapolate that to the social realm or the cultural realm, the societal realm, or indeed the political realm, awake has meanings that are in some ways, what's the right word? If not overtly dissident, certainly perceiving systems of authority and oppression and bigotry and prejudice and modes of control and suppression that perhaps one would not catch if one was not awake. Now again, maybe this will be more internal. I get it. This album has a lot of conceptual meanings related to the passing of Tom's father and, personal thoughts about where he is psychologically in relation to his father and in relation to what he's learned and perhaps what he would do differently and so on, and his own struggles and feelings. But I do feel like this is the kind of title that inclines you to think not only literally but also on a more comprehensive scale. In any case, I'll see what I can catch on a first listen. This is Assemblage 23. The track is Awake, and it's the second to last tune on his 2001 album Failure.
ones I leave behind. Every time I close my eyes, the noise inside me amplifies. I can't escape, I relive every moment of the day. Every misstep I have made finds a way it can invade my every thought, and this is why I find myself awake. Every time I close my eyes, the noise inside me amplifies. I can't escape, I relive every moment of the day. Every misstep I have made finds a way it can invade my every thought, and this is why I find myself awake.
I'm just gonna keep saying it, like, how is this guy not massive? And maybe he is in certain circles, like alternative, like electronic circles, people who are kind of like rave adjacent, and indeed, a lot of the stuff, it feels like, if it didn't have the vocals, you would think it was like a rave track from the late 90s, early 2000s. But I just like his songwriting, his production, and electronic stylings. It's like brilliant every time. This is another example. I do think we are very much in his psychological journey and feeling of obliteration, but in a way, and more on the sense of destruction and being rudderless, directionless, and not knowing where you're going even as you go faster in relation to where he is, who he's left behind, and what that might mean. But even beyond that, I do feel like there is a sense of broader applicability here, even if he is seemingly, again, drawing on his autobiographical experience, thoughts, and feelings in the wake of his father's death. So that's where I feel like this one is lyrically. Luca, can you not cause problems? It'd be great for the outro if you didn't do that. But yes, again, the idea of he's going in a direction he doesn't know where, there's no destination to welcome him, even the signs, thinking like road signs, he can't read the letters, so he doesn't know, it feels like the sky is sort of like, swallowing him, and in that regard, it's like if you don't have any markers, if you don't have any anchors, you are unsure of where you're going or why. But in a way, also, it feels like liberating in the idea that now he can choose, almost like existentialist. It's like, there's no meaning, so now, if there is meaning, I have to make it, and I have to make my own choices, and I won't be doing what I was brought up to think or do, and I must therefore find my own path, even if right now I don't know what that is. So yeah, there's a sense of like destruction and eradication, but also perhaps implicitly, at least if not overtly, a sense of being free to now go where you will, even if you don't quite know where that is yet. I like his vocals. There's a sense of desperation, but also a sense of resolve at the same time, and I really do think his vocals fit his tracks great. Now again, that kick drum, forget about it. The kind of bleepy, like rhythmic melody, it gives a sense of atmosphere. That metallic, cycling, pulsing lower end bass line with like percussive elements, really fantastic. And I love the sequencing, the way like post-chorus, I think it kind of breaks down and you just get that the pulsing, cycling, the sort of build up on the snare and the crash, and then we're back into it, and then there was like a false ending, it roars back in again. Just incredible production, great writing. This guy's a legend, and I feel like not enough people know about him, and in that regard I feel guilty, which again, it's amazing. Like, if you had played this guy for me in the late 90s, early 2000s, I would have had this like, where have you been all my life? It's like, Nirvana, Prodigy, and yet more electronic and rave-like than either of those, and to me more compelling. So just a top artist that deserves a bigger audience, though again, maybe there is that, I just was not part of it until recently. So once again, shout out to Kim, shout out to Yvonne, who I know has been journeying through Assemblage 23 as well, and any others who are enjoying this deep dive. Let me know what you think, and I'll be back with the final track on the album in a moment. Peace.